I turned dead dirt into living soil with one secret ingredient, and, yeah, you can revive soil fast too. If you've ever dug into your garden and felt that heart-sinking crunch of dry, lifeless soil, the kind that looks more like gray dust than earth, you're not alone. Many gardeners face this heartbreak. Soil that used to teem with worms, roots, and moisture has turned into something that can barely hold a seed. But here's the good news. There is a way to bring it back, and the secret lies in one simple natural ingredient that can revive even the most tired soil faster than you think. The harsh truth is, well, what dead soil really means. Before we talk revival, let's understand what's gone wrong. Dead soil isn't just dry, it's lifeless. It has no microbes, no fungi, no worms, just compacted minerals and dust. Plants struggle to grow, water runs off instead of soaking in, and fertilizers barely make a difference. Think of your soil like your gut. Without beneficial bacteria, digestion stops. Similarly, without beneficial microbes, your soil can't digest organic matter or deliver nutrients to plants. That's why even adding compost sometimes doesn't help, because without microbial life, your soil can't process it. The good news, you can jumpstart life again. The single most powerful, fast-acting way to bring your soil back to life is by adding fermented organic matter, what I like to call a homemade bioactivator. This isn't just compost or manure, it's organic material that's been fermented using natural sugars and microbes. Think molasses, rice wash, or milk cultures. Fermentation pre-digests nutrients, breeds beneficial bacteria, and creates a liquid or semi-solid powerhouse that feeds your soil life instantly. When you add this to your dead ground, it doesn't just improve structure. It kickstarts microbial activity, attracts worms, softens compacted soil, and boosts fertility from the ground up. Here's how it works. Let's keep the science simple. Fermentation breaks down organic material into smaller, bioavailable compounds that plants and microbes can use immediately. Instead of waiting months for compost to mature, fermentation gives you a microbial jumpstart, delivering enzymes, amino acids, and beneficial bacteria directly into the soil ecosystem. It's kind of like giving your soil a probiotic smoothie. Within days, microbial populations multiply, organic matter starts decomposing naturally again, and the texture of your soil begins to change, from powdery dust to crumbly, living earth. So how do you make this powerful soil reviver at home? You don't need fancy equipment or expensive materials. Here's how to make your own fermented soil booster, also known as biofertilizer or lacto-fermented soil activator. What you'll need: media group, all listed materials, bucket, molasses, rice wash water, soil, water, scraps. Arrange together, labeled ingredients for soil booster, stock, distribute. Equally, 1 bucket or plastic container, non-metallic, 1 cup of molasses, brown sugar or honey, 2 cups of rice wash water, that's the cloudy water from rinsing rice, a handful of garden soil to introduce native microbes, water, dechlorinated or rainwater is preferred, and if you want, some fruit or vegetable scraps, or a few spoonfuls of compost. Steps: media group, fruit and vegetable kitchen scraps next to compost pile, spoonfuls of compost on garden table stocks, distribute, equally. First, mix the molasses, rice wash water, and soil in your bucket. Next, add water until the bucket is about 3/4 full. Then, stir well, cover loosely, so gases can escape, and leave it in a warm shaded area for 5 to 7 days. Fourth, you'll know it's ready when it smells slightly sweet or sour, not rotten. Fifth, strain the liquid and store it in a bottle. This liquid is now your fermented soil life starter, a living culture of beneficial microbes ready to repopulate your soil. Alright, so let's talk about how to use this and honestly why it really works. For best results, you want to dilute your fermented bioactivator. That's 1 part bioactivator to 10 parts water. Then, just drench the soil, pouring it over those dry, lifeless patches. The microbes will seep in, break down organic residue, and start rebuilding the soil structure. You can also mix it with compost or mulch, which, by the way, speeds up decomposition and multiplies microbial activity. Or soak seeds or transplants in it just to grow numbers and no just a quick dip before planting helps roots establish so much faster. Another thing you can do is spray it on dry soil right before a rain. The rain helps carry those microbes deep into the ground. If you do this once every week or two, you'll start noticing results within a month. Softer texture, darker color, and that earthy smell that tells you life has returned. So, what kind of results should you actually expect? Well, after just a few weeks of using your fermented activator, you'll probably notice the soil softening naturally. It won't repel water anymore. Worms will start returning because they're drawn to all that microbial activity. And your plants. They'll perk up with deeper green leaves and stronger roots. You'll also see moisture retention improving. The soil holds water longer. And, honestly, within a couple of months, you'll be amazed. Even severely compacted or dusty soil can begin to look rich and crumbly again, all because of the living forces you've reintroduced. So, why does this work better than fertilizer or compost alone? Well, chemical fertilizers feed plants, not the soil. Compost does feed the soil, but it works slowly. Fermented organic matter, though, feeds both instantly. When you use a living microbial solution, you're not just adding nutrients, you're rebuilding an entire ecosystem. The bacteria you introduce start forming networks, breaking down minerals, releasing trapped nutrients, and even protecting plant roots from disease. That's why traditional farming communities and regenerative gardeners absolutely swear by these natural biostarters. They wake up the soil instead of just covering up its symptoms. Now, let's talk about long-term maintenance, keeping the life flowing. Once your soil starts showing signs of revival, you've got to keep feeding it. Microbial life is like any living thing. It needs food and shelter to thrive. So, add organic matter regularly like mulch, chopped leaves, or kitchen scraps. Avoid harsh chemicals. Pesticides, herbicides, and synthetic fertilizers will kill those helpful microbes. Keep it moist, but not waterlogged, since microbes need moisture to stay active. And don't forget to use your fermented liquid monthly. Just a small dose keeps those microbial populations thriving. With time, you'll see that your soil starts managing itself. It'll retain moisture, resist disease, and support strong, vibrant plant growth naturally. No constant feeding needed. If your garden soil feels hopeless, remember, it's not dead, it's just sleeping. Nature always finds a way back if you give it a push in the right direction. One bucket of homemade bioactivator is enough to start the revival process, and honestly, it's easy, inexpensive, and incredibly effective. You don't need to buy fancy amendments or rely on synthetic boosters. Everything you need to heal your soil is already in your kitchen or backyard, so there you have it. The simplest, most powerful way to revive dead soil fast and turn dust into living, fertile ground using just one ingredient. Fermented organic matter. It's nature's way of jump-starting life, and your garden will thank you for it. If you found this guide helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a fellow gardener who's struggling with dead soil. Let's spread the soil power movement and bring life back to our gardens, one patch at a time. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to Soil Power on YouTube for more natural soil hacks, microbial secrets, and regenerative gardening tips that actually work. Together, we'll keep the earth alive, from the ground up.